Hello, in this video I'm going to go over my setup for a dungeon healer. I call this my Courageous Assault healer. Kind of a clue in on why. This setup is using Powerful Assault and Spell Power Cure for the two sets. And then I am running One Piece Magma Incarnate for the recoveries and the Spaulder of Ruin. I have Powerful Assault backbarred with an Ice Staff, an infused Ice Staff, and then your front bar is kind of a flex. I just am using right now the Perfected Kinds Wind Resto because I already have it crafted and it gives me Magicka Recovery on the front bar. You could change this out to different ones if you want, possibly using an arena weapon or the Resto Staff from AS would be a good one as well. I don't have the perfected version of this, but this will reduce your Magicka whenever you hit Combat Prayer. So it can save you some resources, or if you don't want to use that, or if you don't have it, the Maelstrom Resto procs with regeneration and will give you Magicka back if you critically strike with radiating regeneration. And it, if you have the perfected version, it will give you critical chance as well as the Magicka when it critically strikes, like that there. I would have gotten Magicka back right away, and then on that one there. So I would have got two refunds of Magicka there. Magicka resource is pretty much taken care of, so I wouldn't recommend worrying too much on getting the Magicka back from an arena weapon like that. The reason I don't use the Dragonstar Arena healing staff anymore is I've replaced Illustrious Healing with Budding Seeds. It kind of does the same thing. It has a synergy on it, so it's going to be able to give somebody resources with that synergy from the Undaunted passives, and the healing is just really, really good. It's a cheap skill. It only cost me 1,493 Magicka, which is about 1,000 cheaper. I realize Illustrious Healing does more healing than Budding Seeds does. However, I just feel like the Budding Seeds and proccing the Warden passives is just better overall. I've pretty much got my healers set up the same. I have Budding Seeds, Braided Tether, Chakram Shields, Combat Prayer, Radiating Regeneration, Reviving Barrier, and you have to slot an Assault skill to proc Powerful Assault. So on my back bar I have Echoing Vigor. You could use Trample if you wanted to get Major Heroism, and then you could put something else here if you wanted to, but you do have to use one of these skills in order to proc Powerful Assault. You also have to be in combat and close to your people, so make sure they're inside this red ring. That's another nice thing about having the Spaulder of Ruin on when you're running Powerful Assault. Powerful Assault has a distance of 12 meters. A lot of people forget that. In trials, a lot of times off tanks will run this and they'll be sitting there trying to proc it, and they're nowhere near the group. This does not help unless you're literally this close. If you are standing where that dummy is right now, and I hit this, you did not get Powerful Assault. I mean, that's really not that far away. In a trial, you'd think, oh yeah, everybody got it. Nope. So 12 meters And this is why I like the Spaulder of Ruin on a dungeon healer, because this red ring corresponds with a lot of different things. Uh, the Aura of Pride ring is 12 meters itself. So what else is 12 meters? Let's see. What about barrier? You can see right there the radius is 12 meters. So if I hit my barrier and they're outside my red ring, they're not getting the barrier. Um, Again, powerful salts outside of that. There's just a lot of things that this really helps you keep track of where your group is and make sure they're inside the ring when you're going to proc powerful assault. And you have to be in combat, so you can't pre-buff it, unfortunately. But it can be, one of the first things you do while you're in group. So basically, this is going to give your DPS in the group a total of quite a bit of weapon and spell damage. If you take the major courage buff from spell power cure, and then you add the 307 from powerful assault, and then you take the 260 from aura of pride, that is just under 1000 weapon and spell damage. Now we're not done yet. Then we also add in minor courage from Xena's empowering discs, and you're adding 1212 weapon and spell damage to your DPS in your dungeon, which is quite hefty, and it's actually probably needed if you're going to run a healer in a dungeon, because a lot of dungeons nowadays can be ran with 1 tank and 3 DPS. I will say the newer dungeons, they have kind of geared those damage-wise to need a healer a little bit more than normal. So you might find that it's nice to have a healer in some of those newer dungeons. So if you're going to run a healer, I recommend running these sets. As I've covered in a previous video, if you don't have spell power cure and you don't want to run the dungeon, you can always go into White Gold Tower and spend your Imperial fragments. That's that currency that's at the very bottom there. There's a vendor inside White Gold Tower that you can just buy coffers from. If you haven't watched my Spell Power Cure video, go ahead and find that on my channel. It's in my healer playlist. That'll be in the same folder as where this video is. Powerful Assault can be bought from an Imperial City vendor. Also, you can buy it on traders. Some of the pieces are going to be pretty expensive, so I recommend trying to purchase them from the vendor if you can. But with Telvar, really not super hard to get this set maxed out and filled up so that you don't have to buy them on traders anymore. Once you have your set farmed down like I do, where you have the entire set filled in, then it's only cost you 25 transmutes to build, so that would be something I would recommend you focus on. This is a very strong set for dungeons and for trials. Very, very strong. Let's see what else here. As I said, this is a flex spot here. I'm just using it because it's already built. You can put whatever you want there for a 2-piece on the front bar. Some other recommendations, if you have it, you can go into the trials here. I was looking through the trials healing sets. I don't remember what the new one has for a 2-piece. Okay, so if you have the resto staff for this new set here, the recovery convergence, it's a 4% healing done if you wanted to add healing done. If you don't have that one, check out Sanity's Edge. This healing staff from Transformative Hope, rather. It also has a 2-piece healing done, so if you're looking to increase your healing done on your front bar, just kind of depends on what stat you want to put on your front bar to buff your heal. If you want to buff your max stats or critical chance or something, then look around for what 2-piece that you can put on your front bar that you can add a component to the build. But those are some ideas there. As always, I always run on every single one of my healers for food. I always run Ghastly Eyeball. Um, Really, I don't feel it's necessary to buff up your health bar. Once you get this procced, the health bar is up and over 21, almost 22,000 health. Um, Look at my max magicka here. I do not use mag recovery glyphs on my build. Let me just hit this one more time to show you this is really not necessary to build into magicka recovery. Look at my magicka recovery, and I'm not using mag recovery glyphs. I mean, anybody that tells me that you need to run mag recovery glyphs, you're not paying attention to all my videos I've done. I have over 3,000 recoveries when I'm fully procced. It's not necessary. Use mag reduction. It's much, much better. Um, okay, so I'm going to go through the gear again real quick. I always use a powered front staff. Unless I'm trying to get crit heals on my off healer build, then I will switch to a precise front bar so that I can get a little bit more crit heals to hit. But I have a weapon damage glyph here. Again, this is a completely flex. You can just figure out what two-piece you want and what component you want to add to the build, and you can build that. And just make sure it's a resto staff, obviously, so you can proc those combat prayers and regeneration. Back bar, powerful assault, infused with a weakening glyph. This is really helpful for tanks. If you strip 452 armor off of the boss, it's going to be really helpful. And again, as always, if you leave that on the wall, this is going to proc that glyph 100% of the time. It also does a number of other things when you use the ice staff. It's going to help with proccing the chilled status, which will help with minor breach. And brittle is probably a little bit more important in a dungeon group. But let's keep going here. Every piece of armor that I build in my healer builds is always in Divine's trait with maximum magicka glyphs on them. So just really quickly, I have a one-piece Magma Incarnate for the mag recovery and the stamina recovery. Then I have Spell Power Cure, again, Divines in Maxim Magicka. And then Spaulder of Ruin. This is a mythic that gives your group 260 weapon and spell damage. This will drain your resources a little bit, but in a dungeon with only 3 people standing in it, it's only going to take away 210 of your recoveries, and that's essentially why I'm running the Magma Incarnate on here, as well as the front bar Magicka recovery. Those two things are going to help out with canceling out that drain. So whenever you're running this, you want to make sure you have your recoveries in a good spot, because they are going to take a little bit of a dip when people stand in your ring. Spell Power Cure, again, on the waist, gloves, legs, and feet. All divines, all with maximum magicka. And then all 3 jewelry pieces are golded out arcane powerful assault with the mag reduction glyphs on the jewelry. So again, I'm always a Breton on my healer builds. Really the best race, in my opinion, for healing. There's just nothing better. You get the maximum magicka increased resistances that double if you have burning, chilled, or concussed on you. Also, you have an increased magicka recovery and the ever so helpful reduced magicka cost in spells. That is huge to pair with the jewelry. It makes your spells cost virtually nothing. Just for a comparison, you can look at what your healer builds have and then look at this combat prayer, only costing 3264. That's pretty low. Usually it's up and over 4,000. So let me go into the skills really quickly. Again, I've got budding seeds, braided tether, chakram shields, combat prayer, aiding regeneration, reviving barrier, and then on my back bar I have echoing vigor, enduring undeath, Xena's empowering discs, blockade of frost, and intensive mender with glyphic of the tides. Again, this is the healer setup that I use for everything. The living death necro, really, really under appreciated skill line in my opinion. Very, very strong skill line. You've got the necro res if you need it. Here's a single target heal that's probably going to be a lot more valuable in a dungeon because it will heal you and an ally. Or I should say, or an ally. Expunge is a cleanse. And then Enduring Undeath, Intensive Mender, and Braided Tether I use pretty religiously. And I've gone through the passives on this in another video, but I will just cover them real quick. You get 12% increased healing done, increased critical chance for your heals, ulti regen when you consume corpses, and then increased recoveries when you have your mender out. So green balance, I mean, everybody knows this. Budding seeds with all the great passives of the warden. Curative rune forms is another great passive or great skill tree. Glyphic of the tides. This just really fills in the cracks that the other skill lines don't have with the shields and the buffing of the resources and the minor courage. And then you've got increased healing and then some really good area heals from the necro. These all gel really well together. You're going to get great recoveries from the erudition passive, and then the eradicate rune forms passive is great for shields. And then when you get your crux up, this is going to increase your healing done as well. In my opinion, this is the best healer setup that I have run, and I have run virtually every skill line that there is in this game. I think these just complement the best in most content. But let's get into the passives, or the champion points. Again, I'm always using these as a staple. I call it the sideways smiley face. And then down here, because I'm running Spell Power Cure, I'm going to run Enlivening Overflow to provide some extra recoveries when I overheal, just as a bonus. For the red tree, I always use these top two, Boundless Vitality Fortified, Spirit Mastery, and then Bastion. In a dungeon, you're probably going to need these a lot more so than you normally do in a trial where DPS are normally getting a res, but in a dungeon, if somebody dies, you're going to want to get them up pretty quickly. So I would recommend slotting those. Let's see. I've gone over the food. Potions. I just use Essence of Spell Power pots. I mean, they're really, really great potions. It gives you the major sorcery, major prophecy, and then major intellect. 3 major buffs that you really do benefit a lot from. That gets your spell power up. Again, just to cover like what kind of a jump you can get with this build for your DPS. Now, obviously the Aura of Pride doesn't affect me because I'm wearing the Mythic, and it doesn't benefit the person wearing the Mythic, as you can see there. But what I can do is I can pop my potion, get into combat, and then overheal myself to proc both Spell Power Cure, and you can see that my my weapon damage almost doubled there. And if I pop my Xena's empowering discs as well, And you can see I've almost gone up by 2,000 weapon damage just on myself here. Of course, that's with the potion on myself as well, but massive increase in damage to your DPS in a dungeon. Um, Try this out. I recommend it. It makes your dungeons really easy to keep your DPS going. You can keep resources under your tank as well pretty easily with this. When you've got the synergy there, as well as Xenas to give them, and then if you wanted to, you could put on a synergy spell like Undaunted Orbs or something like that as a flex. But this is going to be it for my video. Thanks for watching. Check out my channel if you found this helpful and you enjoyed the video. I have all of my content separated and organized into my created playlists. So please check out my playlists and see if you liked anything else in there. This video, for example, will be going into my healer folder. So there's quite a few other healer builds and videos there. Check them out, see if you are interested in those. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the comments and the likes. Trying to get a video out at least once every day, if not more videos, so I can cover a lot of other things in Elder Scrolls Online. Really appreciate all the comments and everything. I'll see you in another video. Bye.